say it was done for criminal intentions to further enhance the gang, when we're just trying to stop killing our people and let our babies get a better example.
Yeah, I think they fear peace. I really do. I think not the whole system, but there is maybe the ones who have the most power are the ones that fear the peace the most, because you keep them fighting, they're not seeing what's going on in their community. They're not seeing what's going on politically. They're not seeing how bad they're really being treated by the system. So keep them fighting. And the sad thing is, we've been fighting for years, but Frank, what have we gained by fighting? I mean, really, what have we gained?
I can tell you what we've lost. That's all.
That's right.
The only thing that we've gained is pretty much tears, depression, pain, struggle, and loss of finance. Like we've gained nothing really. But I worked at the Gibson Amphitheater when I got out of Y. So I got to meet Chente, Pepe.
Top of the tops, YouTube world. December 25th, 2021. I want to say happy holidays to those that have found the strength to endure through all we've been going through these last few years and be able to wake up and celebrate today. For myself, it's been so much loss, pain, and suffering. It's hard to say Merry Christmas. It's like Thanksgiving. One day out of the year. I hate commercialized holidays. But what I wanted to touch on, though, is I've been getting a lot of questions about American Cholo and his stance with the dude who I say I want to remain nameless until he really makes up a good excuse for why he want to roll with the deceased rapper against some hobies instead of staying out of other people's business. But AC Gill, shout out to American Cholo, because he opened up a door for me by allowing me to, get the studio. For my first studio interview was with American Cholo. I got the links. I'm going to shoot them in the description. But the dude's genuine. He fed me, my son, girlfriend, and my mother. Invited us into his home. And we discussed black and brown tension from a Southsider and a Damu who are grown and understand the dynamics that come with gang violence. For myself, I want to first and foremost say that this isn't for any clout chasing or trying to be part of a fad. This video was done over 6 months ago, and we're discussing issues that are now being brought to light as far as individuals not working with certain individuals. I want to give my opinion on why I feel this is counterproductive in today's society. We're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with crime rates and actions of our youth that we haven't seen be committed so freely. We're not seeing anything new. We're just seeing more of it because of the cameras and things that are catching all of these actions. This stuff has been happening. I promise you. 84, 79, 92. Them are some years that I just know that stick out in history as far as people being pulled out their cars and murdered broad daylight. It's happened before. So I don't want anyone to be disillusioned and believe that this is something new. It's just now that we're getting an example or a chance to see what's going on. This is my birthday on December the 11th, which is 2 weeks before Christmas. 2 weeks after Turkey Day. I've been watching what's been going on. We've had 2 slain rappers. We've have a manager slash homie that has went against the grain. Rest in peace to Money Mike, Neighborhood Crips. Biggs, the Roller 100s. Sandman, out the Gangsters. Darby, Indian Boy. There's been a numerous amount of pain and hardship that we've been faced. Just like as Gill pointed out, black on black. Everything I just spoke on was us killing us. Now let's be reasonable and logical. How can you ask another race, another card, another organization to respect us as a culture, and we clearly don't respect ourselves? You can't holler Black Lives Matter and we not treating each other as if our lives matter. Responsibility. My last video, I touched on the responsibility of a YouTuber, but I'm going to go deeper than that. I'm going to touch on the responsibility as myself, because I don't want to be labeled as a YouTuber, with no disrespect to any other people that label themselves as YouTubers. That's not the position that I'm taking on this platform. That's why I won't be hollering for likes, subscriptions. I will share though, and I would hope that you find it sensible enough to get the logic that I'm going to put out there to the younger generations and to the homies that's still struggling. Like that manager that want to be all in the videos, all in the clubhouse. If you don't want that, come to death row. I would be honest. In 1990, I started gangbang. 1990 was a whole lot different than today. But the years that I want to touch on, I was incarcerated for 1996 to 2000. That, I want to say, in that period, a spotlight was put on the entertainment industry. You know, for a long time, the Keyway, the Crips, had a lock on the music. With Eazy-E being on the blue team. And 96 through 2000, the red team with Death Row. You know, DJ Quick was in the game a little before then. It's homies that's been behind the scenes. I'm talking about when the Bloods came to forelight, when we came to the scene with Death Row. Thanks to Bob James allowing Suge to be around real homies. When the Crips had the keys, speaking of Nip, Big U, we could even go into Battle Cat, Dr. Dre. All of these individuals are either Crip sympathizers, Dub C, Ice Cube, You see, I'm not throwing Snoop in there because Snoop was the Bloods' way of getting in the door. I'm going somewhere with this. Don't think I'm tripping. I ain't started drinking yet. It's still too early. I'm gonna bust a couple of videos out on this day because I'm want to get some points across going into the new year. But I want to backtrack before I go into how the Bloods backdoored their way into the industry. I want to talk about what Big U said as far as him getting Nip in the door and starting the process, period. The process was started after so many doors was shut on his reputation and the reputation of the Rolling 60s. It was hard to get in the door. So he went to Steve Lobel and got a Jew to help him get in the door. I say that to say that being this is America, you've got so many different cultures that run so many different aspects of the world. The oil industry, the fabric industry, the music industry, the book industry. Every industry has a certain entity or culture that pretty much brings what they have to the table. Should I say like Wally and Walmart and all of them people, they're good at taking over small businesses and doing what moms and pops have been doing for years and making it at a greater scale on a cheaper level by playing economics and selling to the community and making us sell out by giving up on the moms and the pops to go to Walmart. You feel what I'm saying? The same thing was done in the music industry, the movie industry, Hollywood. You just can't just make a movie and blow up. You have to know somebody to allow you to get in that game. So the Crips did it with Big U and Steve Lobel. I go on now to the Bloods, doing it with Snoop Dogg, based on the Crips was the hottest thing in hip hop at the time. It would have been hard to just put a Blood front and center. But working as a backstage supervisor at the Gibson Amphitheater for so many years, I understand that behind the scenes is where you want to be in the music industry. Producers, engineers, you know what I'm saying? The people that really make it happen are the people that get paid. That is the level that Mob James and them was put on at Death Row. The rappers are pretty much the puppets. No disrespect. I call y'all some pawns on the chessboard if y'all like that a little better. But basically, if you're not independent and making the decisions on your own, then you know what you are. You become like a knight. Nip, Dolph, Mo3, King Von, Drake Yo, Slim 400. Hear me on this, y'all. Because I'm going to always keep it G. What do all of these people have in common? They're street thugs. I'm admittedly say, yeah, they are allegations that may be questionable in these people's characters. But what I can tell you is they always learning a way to get money. And once they figured out that way to get money, then they were stepping on somebody's toes. You're stepping on an industry that's been pretty much monopolized by a certain culture, race, belief, religion, chosen people by some. You know what I'm saying? Inglewood did it. It's been a couple of people screaming that about some of the past incidents that have occurred. Inglewood did it. That's scary. I may sound biased when I say this, but I'm going to try to put some facts on the table to support my position that I'm about to take here. And I'm not off track. I'm still, remember, the Crips, Big U, used Steve LaBelle, the Jews to get in the game, Suge, Snoop Dogg, and then he bullied his way through. We're going to continue with that. But if we go in sequence, there has to be a backstory. And I just want to put a different mindset out there. This goes to Dolph, all of these rappers. You don't see T.I., 2 Chainz, and these individuals being caught up in this. Multi-million-dollar artists that are making other people money and keeping, what should we say, keeping in line with the old school rules. Not trying to go against the grain, not trying to outshine the master. I've been reading this 48 Laws of Power again for like the 5th time. And this is why I say don't read a book just once. Not even just my book. Piggly Wiggly, Edwin Johnson, read that book 3 times. You learn something new every time you read a book, no matter how big, how long, how strong. If you go in with an open mind and a willingness to learn, every time you read that book, you can possibly learn something new or figure out a way to apply some kind of information that you didn't realize at the time, the first time you read it, how to apply that. Because every day brings different obstacles and journeys, and we grow, hurt, and change daily. Especially in these times. There's so much propaganda, so much distraction, so much risk, thrills, fear, pride, ego. Let's not be confused, people. Let's keep things in a proper perspective. Let's give our folks their flowers while they're still here to receive that recognition. This is why I shout out Hoodie from the Hood, boy from the Big N, S-Bone, 40s, 16 to Life, Yard Down, Professor Melly Mel. That's the Hood Postman. Big Nina Boy, Nate 916, and a homie K9 from Swan. I forget. I'm gonna have these links in the description though. These is homies that's doing this YouTube thing right. I don't shoot them out because I want their subscribers to come on over here and then subscribe to me. Like I say, I'm more into book sales than to subscriptions. This is a platform that I want to utilize to help get what I write about to those people that may not read, to those people that may not know how to read. This is my way of writing my book. Like Hoodie from the Hood said, this is therapeutic to me. It really is. Because there's so much trickery, fuckery going on out here. If you got a whole rap, some people call it the Illuminati. I just call it the rich Jews with money that run the rap music. It's been going on since Jerry Handler. It's nothing new, but they're threatened. Kind of like how taxi cabs are to Uber and Lyft. Blockbuster to Netflix. Direct TV to Hulu. Let's hear this, hear me. There are certain industries that have been locked down since I can remember. McDonald's and the Big Mac. El Chapo. Pablo Escobar. Gazilda Blanco. Cocaine. There's certain industries that have been continuously held down by certain one percenters. And every one of the last slain rappers, starting with King Von, Mo3, Drakeo, Young Dolph, Slim 400, all of these individuals had the power to recreate the game. Hear that. If it's a young homie's dream to one day bless the mic and get paid to bless the mic, and his dependency to achieve that dream is dependent on another race or culture giving him that opportunity to pursue that. What does that give that other culture or entity or business? Power. Sole power. It's a monopoly. If you want in this game, you must come through us. So for the manager to say we don't work with Southsiders, that's why I just demonstrated. American Cholo, Gill, shout out, bro. That's Brother Gill working with Adamo. That's me working with a Southsider, which I've done several times. You were wrong, bro. And I'm still waiting to hear you say you were wrong. There are several ways for you to demonstrate how you were wrong. I would really appreciate that greater than I would appreciate you. You know what? I am Pablo. It would be greater if you demonstrated through character and action how sorry you are, B. For what you've done. Because for you to say we don't work with Southsiders, but we work with state evidence, whether it's a civilian whether it's a Christian politician, if you're able to work with them, but you can't work with an organization that is just as strong, if not stronger than ours, what does that say crucially about your business comprehension? Manager 100. That's who you gotta be, homie, until you sign some homies. I ain't even gonna be, I wanna see Dizzy, Spaz, my ransoms first. But you could sign a homie from Sacramento and I'd be just as pleased. You can catch one of these hot Southsiders that got these flows. It's even a Latino cat in the Hoovers. Show that you aren't as racially integrated as you should be, bro. Being in the position that you are in. Santa Claus is coming to town. They say, Manager 100, kiss your Christmas goodbye, brother. We gotta be fair. We gotta be real. You know, everything that I spoke on was about division, unity, divide, conquer. It may have seemed all over the place. That's because you're dealing with we above principalities and all that. We're dealing with foundational, generational, wealth-filled powers. These are like countries within the United States of America. They want you and me to think that Inglewood has something to do with these rappers' deaths. Just like the Nation of Islam and the CIA wanted you to believe that these fellow Muslims had something to do with the great Malcolm X's past. There's always going to be a way for the 1% that want to control through the structure of the masonry, the way that the United States moves. And the chosen people really believe that they're greater than the United States. And these entities are today's form of death row. Because see what death row did? Unlike Big U, and this is why Big U money is still strong. And he's among a little higher echelon of the artists. He's like what we was just talking about. He's his own entity while not trying to take over another entity. You understand where I'm coming from? He's willing to play the game the proper way. The proper way. No disrespect to Big U. He's the smartest of them all. He's been able to share the pie. It's like Franklin in The Wire. He didn't come in there and just say, I'm going to take over the game. He was able to distribute the game around. Like Raymond Washington. He didn't try to just solely, that's why there's so many different opinions on who's the leaders, who's the founders, when it started, how it started, because he opened up the leadership. He didn't try to dictate or monopolize this here gang banging. This is the strongest, and this is why I got love for the Crips. It pains me. I hear, even in my favorite Crips, via YouTube, the streets, prison, there's a, how do I call it, a prejudice there. It's like we got to get over the homies making a stance and doing what we wanted to do. Because, like Franklin and the Wire, we tried to open it up. And examples of that is when Mob James and them, I'm not going to even say Suge, because he was like a president. He took orders from the mass. You're not finna go against what Puddin and them talking about in the 70s. So you ain't finna go against what Heron and Buntry and them talking about in the 90s. It's the same type of mentality. So this is why the homies failed. And it's the same thing Manager 100 is doing. It's like I say, Big U winning the game, and let it be known, we can all eat. Blue, red, brown, gray. He attached himself to different aspects, from real estate to management to production, to he got his hand in a lot. And opposed to where Suge said, we gonna take over the rap game and take it from these niggas. You get what I'm saying? Now see, them niggas that he tried to take it from is smart. And they willing to kill for what they want. You understand what I'm saying? We always think that this go back to Pac and Biggie. The streets ain't do this. The streets may have been the instrument utilized to make the fire spark, but it was the people protecting their business from us. That if we think about it, if we became the behind scenes people, the producers, the engineers, the label, kind of like Treyway. You feel me? Fucking listen, blood. Homies be so caught up in power that they fail to look at the chessboard, and checkmate becomes the end result. Manager 100, let's keep it real. As a profoundly, highly educated homie, you're the key. You're the motor, blood. Let's keep it funky. Pyro. What other homies has the networks, the resources, the key? I figure you trying to put Blueface in them in the front because it's a Crip industry. That's you learn from Big U. I was supporting that. And now this is what happened to you. You got upset because the homies didn't see the plan. That's why every little post I said, bloody got a plan. We gonna eat. Would you rather be behind the scenes, making the money, learning the moves, while they put Blueface out there and we use him as a financial motive to keep the motor tuned and running righteous? So I got mad. Ooh, I said blood name. Violation. I gotta do some push-ups for that a little later. Manager 100 got upset and started to bite back. I can't be mad at that. But it's certain lines you can't cross. And now you're damaging a brand that I was hopefully one day wanted to be part of. where any homie in the game should be connected to. I seen the vision, which other homies did. But to shit on homies and go against homies, and then while you created that drama you got so caught up in, then you start allowing the outside enemies, the Chuck Norris sons, the Texas mad rapist, newborn S-Bone, distract you while still having to deal with real life drama because the homies on your head, because you going against the grain out of your feelings and emotions. Then it got bigger and bigger. And now your business moves are starting to reflect. Like how Franklin Mama had to run, you forgot to sign this. You forgot to sign that. So he trying to figure out what the CIA is. This the CIA, the DEA? What type of entity is this one powerful white man working with? You got tunnel vision, bro. What they teach you on why not to do. You got to use the coping skills and everything we learned in the youth authority that niggas was so, they wanted us not to learn, so they let us smoke and fight and fuck each other and fuck them, and they distracted us just like they doing now while knocking off the most powerfulest pieces on the board. If the pawns don't make it to the other side of the castle, it's over. Let's eliminate any future potential queens on the board by knocking off all the pawns. We already damaged them by taking a couple of rooks, because Nip was and Dolph was on a different level. No disrespect to Mo3, YG Slim, or Draco. They're all very powerful pieces, but every piece is different. That's like we talking Pop Biggie level. It's the history repeating itself, but they giving us a little something to distract us, because remember, it's not the streets killing these dudes. It looked like it. It looked like it. But it has to be illustrated into a perfect way to make the mass buy it. So distraction is vital right now. Let's give them something and take away what we gave them and make them thirsty. It's the Willie Lynch blueprint being rejuvenated through the Constitution, being demonstrated through the laws, being finalized by the prisons and county jails, and our deaths. Everybody eating, from the mortician to the abominator to the judge, the Congress. Everybody is being fed while we suffering and losing out on riches, because they promising you a little something, something. You knock him off and give you 100,000, but he could have gave us all 100,000 though. If we revolt, united we stand, divided we fall. It's such a fucking phrase that's used so loosely, but means so much, and we refuse to recognize there's signs. And it's deeper than biblical scripture. It's deeper than the example set by Raymond Tukey, Mac Thomas, Bulldog. We got real life trophies out here. It's like Bitter Dog Bruno, Baby Gangsta, Cutes, Kev Mack. You shouldn't be able to call yourself a gangbanger if you haven't researched and heard from Melly Mel, the professor, the hood postman. It's like people are being able to break the chain of command. There used to be like a set, I guess you could say, totem pole. Yeah, there was a set totem pole. You had to elevate through certain levels to get to the top spot. The game has changed to where that's not the same anymore. So you got individuals that catch certain bodies and are able to elevate past that. But keep that on your mind, because I'm going to drop a couple more videos, but I just wanted to explain that American Cholo works with homies. He ain't never been biased to no Bloods. I'm an example of that. Shout out to American Cholo.